All right. Hello and welcome. Welcome and hello. We are back tonight with some more RPG noob review with Logician Tim. That's me. And all of you awesome people. So I appreciate you. Hello. Awesome. I got to turn that down, don't I? Yeah. Yeah, there we go. All right. So yeah, don't have it on your phone while, unmuted. Yeah, another lesson learned. Anyway, so tonight we're going to be doing another edition of RPG Noob Review with Tim, and we're going to be looking at Tales from the Loop again. And this is a really cool book. I'm really enjoying it a lot, and yeah, it's just great. If you haven't noticed by now, I'm totally addicted to it, and I'm going to be looking into more about this book just because it's just really awesome. So. Give me just a second here. I'm trying to set this thing up. Can I get it right? All right. What's up, Joe? Welcome. So yeah, tonight we're going to be talking about character creation and mechanics inside Tales from the Loop. Okay. Last night I took you way back into the 1980s. VHS tapes were popular with movies such as Back to the Future, Nightmare on Elm Street, Child's Play. Thank you, Misty. Chucky, as it's called in the UK. Thank you, Joe. E.T., The Goonies. All these awesome movies were coming out back then. Metal music, such as Metallica, Slayer, Iron Maiden, and many, many more were gaining popularity among the rebellious youth. The Cold War was raging strong, and the threat of nuclear war, with the Soviet Union, was just all too real and scared the shit out of us young kids. So, your parents let you kind of do whatever you wanted on your bike or ride as far as you want to on your skateboard, as long as you're home before dark. When the street lights came on, you knew to get your ass home. And so, that's kind of what we talked about last night. And then we talked about the 80s that never was, where the robots of varying sizes, they perform jobs through with industry and defense, military applications, and giant freighters and other vehicles, using this discovered magnetrine effect, are hovering over the skies. I told you about this wonderful world of 80s that never really was, but it's full of mysteries just waiting to be investigated, and about this loop that attracted all these shady scientists from all over the world to perform their crazy experiments that are always coming and going. And so I went all this about the world last night in the 80s to really kind of set the scene. And, but that kind of begs the question, who are you in all of this? How old are you in the 80s? What type of kid are you? What type of skills do you have? What items are you never without? So tonight we're going to be talking about those things in Tales from the Loop. We're going to be talking about, character creation and the mechanics and how this kind of works together to play the game of Tales from the Loop. So let me get started here. Where am I? Page 49. So, and the art in this book, I'm sure the stream doesn't do it justice, but it's absolutely incredible. So there's 16 steps to character creation. It sounds like a whole lot, but a lot of them are very short and very quick to do. And I'm just going to kind of go over each of these steps so that you can see how easy it is to create a character in Tales from the Loop. And that's going to kind of give you some of the ways you play the game. And some of them kind of hint at some mechanics, and we're going to dive into those mechanics after we're done with the character creation part. Okay. So first you're going to pick the type of character that your kid is, okay? And so they list these for you. We're at page 50 through 57. Okay, so they have these different types already set up for you if you want to use these types, such as bookworm, computer geek, hick, jock, popular kid, rocker, troublemaker, or weirdo. And so what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different types already made up for you. And you're going to choose one of these, and they have a little description of which one is, just kind of brief description of which kind of what the type is, right? And they're all pretty self-explanatory. The hick actually sounds a lot cooler than the word hick, because they can kind of tinker and mess with stuff. I thought was cool. So each one of these has 3 skills, key skills that are available to them by stock. Okay. And so this is what makes them unique. So the hick has force, move, and tinker. Okay. The jock has force, move, and contact. Right. The popular kid has contact, charm, and lead. And so these are these skills that they get stock. Okay. So first we're going to pick our type of character, and then we're going to decide the age of the kid. And this is really important. So the age range is from 10 to 15 years old. Okay. So the age is going to determine some of your attributes, and, you know, kind of like the way that you role play as well, right? That makes sense. And it's going to determine your luck. And so the younger age that you are, the higher luck that you have. And this is kind of neat because, and we're going to go over some of this more in the mechanics section, but it talks about, you know, of course, the younger the kid is, the luckier it's going to be, and that's going to impact your rolls. Okay. So your age is going to be from 10 to 15 years old, and you'll pick that, and taking luck in mind, when we get to that part, you'll have to figure that out. What's up, Scott? Good to see you, man. So yeah, you're going to pick your age, and then you're going to distribute a number of points to your attributes according to your age. Okay, and so you have 1 to 5 points each. 1 to 5 points each. Let me flip to these attributes. Okay, so there's 4 basic attributes in the game, and there's body, tech, heart, and mind. Okay. So these are the 4 basic attributes, and then underneath those 4 headings, there are skills listed underneath that heading. Okay, and so what you're going to do is distribute. So you're going to take your age, and let's say your age is 10. You have 10 points to drop in these 4 attributes, and the maximum that you could have in any one attribute is 5. Okay, what's up, Jay? Welcome, welcome. So again, you have body, tech, heart, and mind. The body is the ability to jump high, run fast, fight, sneak, and climb. Tech is the ability to understand machines and robots, program technological things, open locked doors, and build things. Heart is the ability to make friends, lie, know the right people, create good atmosphere, and persuade others. And then the last one is mind, is the ability to find weak points, understand people, situations, creatures, solve riddles, understand clues, and have the right knowledge at the right time. Joe asks, is the ratio of male to female in terms of characters to choose from even? You know, I don't know. I'm sure you can make your character, I guess, whatever you'd want to, because I mean, you could have a female or a male, you know, rocker or hick or whatever. Let's see what they use in the pictures though. And like, I don't know if that's a male or a female, so it's kind of hard to tell. Yeah, some of these are kind of hard to tell right away if they're male or female, but I'm assuming you could really choose to play male or female bookworm or computer geek or whatever. I didn't see anything in here about where it had limitations, so yeah. So back to the attributes. What you're going to do is you're going to, like I said, you're going to roll up your character using your age as points and put those in those 4 attributes first. Okay. No higher than 5 in any attribute. Growing older means that you get an attribute point. So let's say you pick a birthday and you level up or something after the campaign, then you gain a point that you can now add to any attribute that you want to. Now, at age 16, though, it means that you're too old for the game, and you now need to re-roll the character. Yeah, ambiguous, Joe. Exactly, the ambiguous duo. So you're going to do your attributes, and then you're going to determine your luck points, and we talked about that just a little bit earlier. How you do that is you take your age minus 15, and that equals your luck points. Okay. And so let's say your character is 12, minus 15 is 3. You would have 3 luck points, and you keep these in your little pool, and they don't replenish until the next campaign. So once you're out of luck points, you're out. And what these do, and I'll go into a little bit deeper later, is it allows you to re-roll. Re-roll, like if you fail to roll or something like that, you can use a luck point, just one. You can't use all of them at the same time. You only can use one at a time to re-roll, and then once they're done, they're done. So if your character is really young, like let's say you roll a 10-year-old, then you're going to have 5 luck points, and that's going to help you more in the campaign, versus if you were 15, you would have higher attribute stats but less luck points. And so it kind of helps balance that out, and I like that a lot. So then, so after you determine your luck points, that was number 4. Number 5, you're going to distribute your, you get 10 points in skills. And let me go to that page, 58 and 59. That's where I'm at. Cool. So there's a bunch of these skills underneath these headings. So the attributes are, think of those as like the body has sneak, force, move underneath it. Those are the skills underneath the body. And then tech has tinker, program, and calculate. So those are skills underneath that tree. Yeah, Jason says, or Jay says, so when you run out of luck, you're shit out of luck. Exactly. Exactly. It seems like, never mind. Yeah. So you're going to take your 10 points in skills. So you've already put your attribute skills into body, mind, heart, and tech. And then you get 10 extra points to put into these individual skills. And you can divide them up however you want to. You can take up to level 3 in your 3 key skills. And so let's look at our key skills here. So let's go back to the hick. The hick key skills are force, move, and tinker. So he can have, or she can have, a level 3 in those 3 skills. Okay. For the other skills that I want to choose, and I can choose whatever I want to, I can only put 1 skill point in each one. Okay. So let's say I wanted a hick that he automatically gets force, move, and tinker. So let's say I put 3 points in each one of those, and that would be 9 points total, and I would have 1 left over. But I wanted him to have investigate as another skill. I could put 1 point into investigate and have that as an additional skill. Okay. So that's how that works. And I'm going to go over how these mechanics impact your character right after this. So then 6, the next step is you're going to pick an iconic item. Okay, so I'm going to turn to page 59 here. Did I say 59? Yeah, I did. Okay, cool. 59. So you're going to pick your iconic item. So this is an item that's going to stay with you and your character all the time. Okay, it's not going to disappear. It's not going to break. If it gets lost or stolen, you'll get it back by the end of the mystery. And what this does is, I think this is kind of neat. You can pick your own iconic item, and like I said, it's always with you, and it actually helps give you bonuses to your dice rolls if it makes sense. So let's say I have a skateboard, for example. It will actually give me 2 bonus dice to roll. Let's say if I want to escape some bullies attacking me or something like that, I can use my iconic item. I'm going to escape on my skateboard. I get 2 extra dice to roll on my move skill to get away from those bullies, and that's pretty neat. Now you can also find other items, just whatever's around. Let's say you pick up a Coke can, and yeah, I'm gonna throw it in my backpack. Well, if you find some cool way to use that later, you can use that, and I don't know, you could kind of manipulate the GM as long as it makes sense. You can tell them, hey, look, I think this is worth a 1 extra dice roll. Because I'm using the Coke can in this awesome way. I made a bong out of it or whatever. And so it gives me +1 to, I don't know, getting high or whatever it is, right? So so as long as it makes sense, then you can do that. And the GM can say, yeah, I'll give you a +1 or +2 or even a +3 if it's something really cool. So if those bonuses are warranted. So 7th step is you're going to pick a problem from your character type. All right. And a lot of these are just listed right here on the page of your character types. Okay, so they'll have, this one has 3 different problems already written for you that you can just choose one, or you can make up one of your own. So a problem for the popular kid might be, my aunt lives in our basement and she's crazy. Or it could be my mom and dad, my mom or dad is having a secret love affair. or it could be your rival knows what you're trying to hide, right? And so these are problems already given to you just right from the get-go, okay? Or you can make up your own. And each one of these is different. So you're going to pick a problem, and this problem is something that worries you, and the GM kind of uses to put you into trouble. And it should be something that you want to explore during the mystery. And remember, we called the campaign is what they call a mystery. Okay. So Joe says, how many dice does each player have on their turn? I don't remember. I'll get there. I've got it in my notes, and I'll get there. We're going to go over the mechanics in just a few minutes. And so, yes, and I do remember, and it's different for each player based on your attributes and your skill level. Okay, so we're going to be going over that in just a minute because it's really unique and I like it. So yeah, you're going to pick your problem, and then you're going to pick your drive from your character type. And so they have that on here as well, just like your problem. You can pick up, you can choose one of these, or you can make up your own. So a drive is something that is the reason that you expose yourself to danger, right? And it's the reason that you're out here trying to putting yourself in difficult situations and trying to solve mysteries. Okay, so this person's drive might be it's a relief to get away from the burden of popularity. I gotta sneeze. Whew. It could be that another drive could be that I hate secrets, right? Or I'm doing all this for love, or I hunger for everything in life. That sounds so cheesy. There's got to be a better one in here. Okay, here's one. Like the Hick drive is, there's more to this world than meets the eye. Or, they need me. The world needs me. My friends need me. My family needs me. So that would be a drive as well. And then you're going to pick a pride. Okay, so drive and pride are a little bit similar. But pride is something that makes you feel strong or important, valuable. And here's what's really cool about pride is once per mystery, once per campaign, you can actually check your pride for an automatic success roll after a failed roll. Okay, and this is really neat. And they give an example of this, and where it talks about how the game master is describing this hole in the ground, and player one says, I back away from the hole. I think we should find another way in. Player two's like, no way, we're going in, and they roll a sneak, but they fail. And player two can say, well, I want to check my pride because I have sneak as a skill, and it's as my pride. So being sneaky is part of my pride, and so I want to push that with my pride check. Well, then that player will get an automatic success on that roll. So you can do that one time per campaign to get that automatic success. Okay, using checking your pride. And then so after that, you're going to define your relationships with the other kids in the group and also to NPCs. And again, a lot of this is right here on the character the character type breakdown. Okay, so it tells you right here relationships to the other kids in the group, and you can choose one for each other kid that you're playing with, or you can make up your own again. So it might be that you think, how can I show this person what I really feel? Or this is a really reliable friend. Okay, that would be a relationship to these other kids, and then you're going to make up relationships to NPCs as well. And so, and it has them here for you that you can choose from. This one says, the school janitor seems so lonely since Mona, the school librarian, disappeared. I wish I could help him. The police officer, and it has somebody's name, Karen Richards, asked me if we could help her out on a boat this weekend. I've seen that stranger, the former rock singer Mikey Hayes, sneaking around in the forest near the company, near this company. So that would kind of help develop these relationships with the NPCs. And what this does is all these types of questions, or these pride, the drive, the problem that you have, the relationships that you have with other kids, and to NPCs, helps the GM come up with scenarios when they're going through the mystery, and it helps kind of suck in your character and make your character customize that story just for your character. And so it really helps you to be able to shine when that story is being told. And so it's kind of neat. I like it. And Kids on Bikes did that too, right? So they did a lot of the a lot of the narration building was very back and forth between the GM and the player, and it was very heavy dependent on these questions that you answered at the beginning of the game, because there was no campaign set out for you, there was no mystery set out for you, there was no framework really. It was just these questions, and everything was built off of that. And that's kind of how this is in just a sense, but there is a framework, there is a mystery that they give you. They give you 4 of them actually, and in a really cool way too. That's very unique. So again, so you're going to define those relationships, and then you're going to define, you're going to choose your anchor. Okay, and what the anchor is, again, that gives it to you right on this page, is so the anchor is a person that you go to for support. Okay, somebody that would comfort you or care for you. And your anchor is going to help you overcome conditions, and conditions I'm going to be going over in just a moment. Those are what happens to you when you fail a roll. Let me take a drink here. So the anchor could be your dad or your mom, could be somebody that you hunt with. It could be a riding instructor, horseback riding instructor, or something like that. Joe says, I hope this doesn't sidetrack you. I got nothing to do, man. How and when did you get involved in RPG and tabletop gaming? I've got a blog that kind of documents all this stuff because it's kind of funny, but I didn't get into tabletop gaming until, what was it, maybe 6 months ago, when Scott and Jay were making Nexus, and they called me in to help out on the project. So I started writing a designer blog for them, knowing absolutely almost nothing about tabletop gaming. And so I really had this unique take on games and on developing games. I had no clue anything about it. And so I started helping them with that. And I have a background in marketing and communication, as well as IT and consulting, stuff like that. But I didn't have any really background in tabletop. And so I came in and helped those guys with Nexus. And then just here recently with RPGs, I just picked up, Scott let me have the Kids on Bikes book. What was that, 2-3 weeks ago? That was one of the first times I read, I read this book, Tales from the Loop, or part of it, a couple weeks before that. But this is my first RPG book that I've ever bought. And so brand new, brand spanking new, absolutely no background in RPG or other games. So I'm learning this with you guys, and that's what's so special about it. So, but thank you for that question, Judge. I think that's awesome. So yeah, you're going to choose your anchor, and then after you choose this anchor, this person that's going to help solve your conditions, you're going to name your kid, right? And do they have names on here? Yeah, they do have typical names on here. I mean, why do you need a suggestion for your name? That's kind of silly. And then you're going to write a quick description about your kid, okay? And it just talks about, what your kid looks like, what they are as a person. And it says you should also write down things that you find useful when you're going to play the kid in the game, such as how she talks and moves, what clothes she wears, and so forth. And so you're just kind of writing down just a quick little blurb about your character. And so you're going to write the description, and then it says to choose your favorite song. And it talks about it, but it's like, okay, choose your favorite song from the 80s and pick a song that says something about you and your kid or whatever. But it says it has no mechanical effect whatsoever. I'm like, all right, well, if I'm going to go through the trouble of picking a song and maybe downloading it and putting it on my phone at a moment's notice, like when I start playing Eye of the Tiger or something like that, like right in the middle of a scene, and I'm about to go face to face with this big bad guy, like I should get a +1 or something. That's all I'm saying. All right, that's all I'm saying. So anyways, so yeah, you pick your favorite song, and then 2 more steps to creating the character that you're going to do as a group. The GM's going to have you define your hideout. And so this is a place where you all go to, and the GM cannot create trouble for you there. It says that a kid can create trouble for themselves, like picking a fight with another kid there, but the GM doesn't create any trouble there. And it's really a place where you can go to heal conditions. As long as there's another kid there with you that you're close to, you can help heal these conditions without your anchor. So you can run back to this hideout instead of going and finding the janitor or your mom or dad or something like that. And then finally, they're going to give you the GM's going to give you some questions here. He's going to questions the kids individually and questions to the group. And so it says they're going to ask 4 to 6 questions to the individuals. And this is going to help, again, build that story of what is this person like so that I can work that into the mystery. And so some of these questions are like, what do you think about school? What's your favorite food? What makes you angry? What do you want to do for work when you grow up? What do you think about sports? All these type of little tidbits of information the GM's going to jot down and try to work that some way into the story if it makes sense. And I thought that was cool. Now, the GM's also going to ask 2 to 3 questions for the group as a whole. Okay, and it gives you a list. It's nice. Like, this is awesome for me because being a new guy, I don't know. It's like, yeah, get to learn your people. Well, I don't know how to do that, but this gives me great questions right here. So, and it asks, who in the group has the most to say, or how did you get to know each other? What secrets do you have? Who dislikes you? Who is the leader of the group, right? Who is the most mocked or the butt of the jokes, right? And so all these type of things go into creating your character and creating this group dynamic as well. And so that the GM can use this to build that story. So, and that's really it. It seems like a lot just because I'm having to talk through a lot, but it's one chapter in the book of how to create it. Now in the back, there's a character sheet right here that's already provided for you. So if you want to just copy it on your copy machine, or again, you can go to modifius.net, I believe. You can download the PDF version for free. And so it looks really simple to me. It has little boxes of each one, of body, tech, heart, and mind, the conditions that you can get that we're going to be going over in just a minute. It has the different skills that are underneath these attributes. And then it has your experience, that I'm going to be talking about that in just a little bit. And then has your name and all that kind of stuff that you picked, your relationships to the different kids, your items, the hideout, your notes. All of this fits pretty much on one page. And to me, that doesn't seem intimidating to me. That seems like something I could easily do in 20 minutes or so and be playing. And for a new player like me, the ease of a game like this is very attractive. Now, I might get bored with it quick because it might not have the depth. I don't know. But at least it's not intimidating for a new player like me. So, I've told you about character creation in Tales from the Loop, and now I'm going to be talking about the mechanics. Okay, and I alluded to that, just some of these things a little bit earlier, but there is experience in Tales from the Loop. And how this works is, at the end of the session, the GM can award experience points to the kids. And it doesn't really give a lot of information on or guidelines on how much experience or when to give experience, but it just basically says at the end of the session, the GM can award experience points to the kids, and then the kids can use those experience points to raise their skills. And so it's a cost of 5 EXP for 1 skill level point. And again, 5 is still the max skill level for or max level for any skill. But until you get to that, then you can spend 5 EXP and maybe you gain a skill that you didn't have before, or you raise a skill a little bit higher that you already had. And then you'll suffer. So that's experience, and then they have what's called in the game called trouble, and I don't know what you would call this in Dungeons and Dragons or some other game, but this is, I guess, where you would roll dice. And so you're so trouble, as described here, is something that prevents the kids from doing something, and it can be bad, a bad thing about to happen, or a possibility that could be very dangerous. So it's the GM's job to create the trouble, but the kids can also get themselves into trouble. And what they talk about when it says the GM asks you how to react, and you may try to overcome it somehow or ignore it and let it happen. And it gives a nice little example here where it talks about when you're sneaking in the school. And so the player says, I move slowly through the corridors towards the headmaster's room. And so the GM says, just as you pass the chemistry class, you hear footsteps in the corridor from around the corner. Someone's coming, and we'll see you in a few seconds. What do you do? And that little explanation there that, oh no, someone is coming, that's how they describe trouble in this game. So that's kind of cool. So the GM's going to put the kids in a lot of trouble, but kids can also create trouble for themselves. And let's just say we're walking down the street and I decide that I'm going to pick up a rock and throw it through the window, or I'm going to try to hit that guy in the head with a rock. Well, that would be putting myself into trouble, right? So the dice are going to be coming out soon. So then they have what's called when you suffer conditions. Okay, so when you fail a dice roll, and I'm going to be going over the rolling the dice in just a minute, but when you fail the dice roll, you can be forced to take what's called a condition. Okay, and this is left up to the GM, and they might even warn you ahead of time that, hey, if you fail this roll, be prepared to take a condition. And there's 5 of them listed. Okay, and let me get to this. I think it's in page 62. Oh, we're already on it. Okay, right here, there's a little chart here. I love charts. Each condition, there's 4 of them that are considered mild, and then the 5th one is like pretty much done. So they're called, the conditions are upset, scared, exhausted, or injured. Okay, so if you get upset, if you get scared, exhausted, or injured, then you're going to take a -1 from your dice. So let's say if you were rolling 5 dice, then you're going to take 1 away and you're only going to roll 4. And they're cumulative. So if you have, if you're both upset and scared, you're going to take away 2 dice from each dice roll. Okay. No problem, Joe. Thanks for stopping in, man. And I'll see you next time for sure. Good night. Get some rest. All right. Get some rest. So yeah, if you have 2 conditions, you're going to get -2. You're going to have to take away 2 dice. If you have 3 conditions, 3 dice. If you have all 4 conditions, and you fail another roll, you get another condition, you become what's called broken, which means you're mentally or physically hurt, and you're going to automatically fail any rolls in the future until you can get healed from your anchor or going to the hideout with another kid. So, so if you already have a condition and you fail a roll, and let's say something scares you, and the GM's like, you're now scared. You gain the scared condition. If you already have that checked, then you have to choose something else. And so it's not like, oh, well, I'm already scared. Where scared doesn't get any worse scared, but you might have to choose upset or injured or exhausted, just in addition to what you already have checked. So let me get to rolling the dice. Okay, this is the interesting part. So you roll a number of dice equal to your score in the attribute that you use to accomplish that task. Okay. And remember when we set those attributes earlier, those 4 different ones, the body, tech, heart, and mind earlier? Well, whatever you have in that skill or in the attribute, you're going to grab that many dice. And so let's say you have a 4 in body. Okay, you're going to grab 4 dice, but then also you're going to add more dice equal to the level of your skill, the corresponding skill. So let's say I have 4 in body, so I'm going to take 4 dice. Then I have a 3 in sneak skill, which is underneath body. So that's going to be 3 from the sneak skill, because I'm level 3 in that, and 4 from body. So that's 7 dice total to roll. Okay, and so every 6 that you roll is a success, and these are only 6-sided die that you use here. Every 6 you roll is a success. And it talks about, most cases only need 1 6 to win to succeed, but sometimes the challenge can be very tough, and the GM can decide to up that, and we're going to talk about that in just a second. But remember that your iconic item is going to give you +2, give you 2 extra dice to roll. So you might have 7. You want to use your iconic item if it makes sense. That'll give you 2 more to roll. Okay. And then also you have your pride check you can use, which is going to give you an automatic success. And then also you have the luck points that we talked about earlier, which allow you to re-roll in case of a failure. Okay, but again, you can only use 1 luck point at a time. And then also you can do something. So they have all these cool ways that if you fail a roll, it's not the end of the world. Okay, and they have one called pushing the roll. So if you fail a roll, you can choose to immediately retry and kind of using your mental or physical, you're pushing yourself mentally or physically to the limits of your abilities, right? So you're going to push yourself, but you'll have to check a condition. So I might say, you know, I might have failed something. I might fail to pick a lock or something, and so I decide I'm going to push myself, but I get kind of scared because I'm under so much pressure. So I'm going to check that condition. So you can only push once. You can't, like, you know, push and fail and then push again. You can only push once. You can't do it twice in a row. And you can also, so in addition to that, you can also help each other a little bit. So let's say Jay is another kid that's playing with me. You know, and he's trying to pick the lock. I can actually give him one of my dice. I can give him a +1 to that, but only one kid can help another at a time, and you only get a +1 to that. And the bad part is if Jay fails that and suffers a condition, I also suffer that same condition as a consequence. So if they get scared as a result of failing, then I would also get scared of that. And then I kind of alluded to earlier the difficulty of a particular task is up to the GM. And so, you know, it's all up to them. I might say, you know, this particular lock is very difficult. And so the normal difficulty would be, you know, 1 6 is what you need to succeed. You know, extremely difficult would be 2 6s that you need to roll. And then almost impossible would be 3 6s that would be needed for success. Okay. And so when you're rolling, you might be rolling 7 dice, but you need only 1 to succeed. Unless it's extremely difficult, then you would need 2 to succeed. And then almost impossible would be 3 to succeed. Now, here's what's really cool. I love these mechanics. Some of these are really neat because they have things like what they call buying effects. And so let's say I roll my 7 dice and I get 3 6s and only needed 1. Well, they have these leftover successes which can be used to kind of buy beneficial bonus effects, you know, if it makes sense to them. And the GM has to agree to everything, just like normal. Now, effects aren't you don't buy effects to achieve what you were trying to do. So like if I was trying to pick this lock and I got 3 6s and only needed 1, well, I already picked the lock. These are just additional, you know, kind of getting more than what you asked for. And it lists these where it lists the skills. Okay, so let's say we're doing the sneak skill. Okay, the bonus effects it gives you underneath sneak is I can actually give a success to another kid. And so let's say I've rolled 2 6s and only needed 1. Well, I can give a success to Jay to put in his pocket to use for later. Or it could be that I find something unexpected or maybe more than what I was looking for. Okay. So they have these, what is it here? You can give success to another kid. You don't need to roll to overcome the exact same trouble in the future. This is really neat. So let's say I roll a 6. I roll a couple 6s. What's up, Eddie? Let's say I roll a couple 6s and only need 1. I can actually use that to where I don't have to re-roll in the exact same trouble next time. I will automatically overcome it. Okay, and so I think it talks about this. It gives a example here on page 68 where they roll force. The force skill to wrestle the brother to the ground. They get 3 6s and they ask the GM, can I buy effects? And the GM's like, yeah, sure. So he says, I can buy 2 effects. Let's see. Well, number 1, my brother's humiliated and I don't have to roll again for the exact same trouble. Okay. So the game master, you know, the GM says, okay, remember it's the exact same trouble though. If he attacks you in front of others, you'll beat him without rolling the dice. Okay, and then it says, now, tell me how you wrestle and humiliate your brother, right? And I thought that was really cool because if you roll extremely well and you get more sixes than you need, you can use that to buy these extra effects. I thought that was awesome. Then they also have they have NPC involvement where if NPCs come in and help you to overcome some trouble, the GM doesn't roll for them, I'm sorry, let me take that back. So if NPCs come in and they're in trouble, and let's say, you know, Fred, the worker at the kiosk, is I don't know, trying to sneak past this guard. I don't know. The GM won't roll for them, but instead they just get to choose whether they succeed or fail. Okay, just whatever kind of helps the story. Now, the NPCs can help you with some trouble and some task, in which case the GM will decide to give them, a bonus of 1 to 3 dice to you. So let's say I'm trying to pick the lock. Fred, the kiosk guy, is sitting here, and he's going to help me pick the lock. Well, let's say Fred knows about locksmithing or something just weird. Well, he might give me 2 extra dice to roll to help me with my success. Okay. And so I thought that was cool. And it talks about some special NPCs can be significantly harder to beat. And, of course, that makes sense. What's it talk about here? Oh, this is really neat. They call it NPCs, but it's not really an NPC. It's more like a situation, okay, where he gives an example of a strange underwater storm with the special attribute Wild Currents 2. Means that the kids who try to swim through the water must get 2 successes in order to make a move roll. So they're going to use their move attribute to try to swim through this water, but it's got Wild Currents 2, and so each kid is going to need 2 sixes to succeed. And it talks about some other examples of that. So I thought that was really cool. Now, when you fail the roll, you can end up with a condition like we talked about earlier. And like I said, the GM might even warn you first and say, hey, if you try to pick that lock while somebody's looking at you, you might suffer the scared condition. So you might not want to do that, or you want to go ahead and try it. But that's not it. You could also get what they call a complication, suffer a complication. What this is when you, where you might still succeed at the task at hand. So you might succeed at picking the lock, but something else goes wrong. And it talks about this here, where it says, so let's say you're trying to climb a fence, and so you roll and your move skill and you climb over the fence. But let's say we needed a 5, let's say I needed a 1 6, but I didn't quite make it, but it helps further the story along. So the GM says, you know what, you did climb over the fence. Even though your roll was unsuccessful, you did climb over the fence, but a guard dog heard you and is now running at you full speed, and so that would be what they call a complication. So this is where a failed roll allows you to succeed with the most crucial part, but makes something else go wrong. So, and it talks about, like, you might be rowing out into the lake. The boat owner comes out running from the parking lot and sees you. So you still succeeded, but you got, at least somebody saw you or something like that. So I thought those were really cool. The mechanics in the game are very easy to understand, especially from a newbie perspective. It's very, I don't know, it's intuitive. It makes sense to me. I didn't have to, look up any type of lingo or anything like that. Everything just kind of made sense to me. And so I thought that was really neat. I think that's really, there's a lot more detail in here and examples. They put a lot of time and effort into it. And it's really amazing. And so yeah, that's about it for tonight. If you have any questions, go ahead and type them into chat or leave them in the comments. I'll be happy to answer those below after the stream if you're watching this later on. Next time, I'm going to be going over the 2 different types of mysteries that you can play in Tales from the Loop. One is what they call a mystery story, which is kind of like a campaign that they already have built out for you for the most part. And then they also have one that's called a mystery landscape, which is more open world and has a sandbox sort of feel, which kind of reminds me a little bit about of the Kids on Bikes type thing, where you build the story more as you go along versus kind of a campaign with more framework. And they have a little bit different rules for each one. So next time I'm going to be going over both of those, the mystery story, and the mystery landscape. So, but yeah, I'm loving this book. It's really neat. Really enjoying it. I'm really loving doing these kind of reviews, these in-depth analysis, I guess, or I don't even know what you call it. But anyway, I'm having fun. I appreciate you tuning in for the night, and I will see you all probably tomorrow night. And I'm going to be going over these mysteries. And yeah, that's about it. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we will see you next time.